Hi everybody, it's Felicia Monique, your YouTube mommy, here with another video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and please join my Facebook mommies group. It's called Moms Are Baddies Too. This channel is all about inspiring moms, whether you're single, married, or otherwise, to be the best person that you can be, and inspiring you guys to also know that you're not the only one going through this, because your YouTube mommy is here, okay? All right, so let's get into today's video. Today is all about moving on. It's okay to move on and let go of the dead weight. So in any instance, we may be talking about old relationships, but we may be also talking about old stress, old emotional burdens, old things that we need to really bury and let it go. It's dead weight, sis. It's time to let it go. So what does it look like to really move on? What does it really mean to forgive someone? What does it really mean to let go of pain? How do you do that, right? I think that's one of the major things, because people are always like, you need to move on, or you need to forgive them, or you need to stop worrying about stuff that happened to you, your old trauma, your old drama. And it's so much easier said than done. So let's talk about my tips for moving on and letting go of dead weight. First, you want to have a safe space. Safe space means it's a happy space. There are so many different emotions that we feel throughout the day, or involving other individuals. But I think that people who you are happiest around, or environments that you are happiest in, are typically safe spaces. So I realized when I was going through a lot of the things that I experienced, that I couldn't even live where I used to live, right? So I had to move somewhere else, because there was history there, there was drama there, there was trauma there, there were things that I remembered that when I would walk into my space, I would just immediately have like PTSD, right? And that can be from emotional trauma, that can just be from sadness, that can be from anger. You know, you remember fights, you may be remembering when you find out about someone cheating on you. There's so many different things you may remember in an old space. So for me, I moved, literally moved. And then when I moved into this space, I made it my space. I made it look like what I wanted it to look like, smell like what I wanted it to look like. And in certain instances, we may not be able to afford to just up and move, right? But what I would recommend is, when I couldn't afford to move, I would always try to save up a couple dollars and maybe buy a new painting, or buy some furniture, or go to Target and buy like some cubes, or even just the small things. Sheen, whatever you call it, also has like a home space, a home decorating portion on it. Like if you swipe over it, there's homes. So you can like buy cheap things you could throw on the wall, or put in your kitchen, or your living room, whatever space you want to change. The key thing is you want to create a happy environment so that you feel safe. This also means finding people that you are happy with. Because what happens when you're around people, if you ever feel uncomfortable, anxious, sad, and sometimes these things just naturally happen in relationships anyway, but you want to be around people who, even if you go through horrible things with them, you are comfortable enough to know that if you express yourself, that you guys can get back to a happy space. If you are dealing with people on a day-to-day basis, or on a constant basis, that you aren't even comfortable enough to express how they make you feel to get back to the happy space, they're not your people. If you can't tell them, I don't like this, to get back to a happy space, that's not your person. That's not your family. That's not your friend. That's not nothing. Let it go. So you need to surround yourself with happy spaces and happy people. Well, they don't have to be happy, but you want to surround yourself with people that you can get back to your happy space with, because they make you feel safe. The key word is safe. And safe can be in a physical sense, an emotional sense, a mental sense, a spiritual sense. For some people, the safest place for them to go to is to their faith. And this page is not about faith at all. But I will say that my faith is Christian. I believe in Jesus. I think he died for us. So I think for me, I found a really safe space in church with Christ. And so I just started going to church. I got baptized. I gave myself back to him and dedicated my life to him. I dedicated my daughter to him and sent her to a Christian school and everything, because that was my safe space. I wake up every day. I read the Bible. I spend the first half of the day listening to nothing but pastors or preachers or bishops who can motivate me and inform me and teach me more about how to be the best Christian that I can be, because that's my safe spiritual space. A safe mental space can be finding a good therapist or a good life coach who can talk to you about what you're experiencing. Some of us have experienced trauma. Some of us have experienced death and loss that we haven't necessarily learned how to grieve and go through it in a healthy way. You may be grieving for a long time, but there are people who can teach you things that you can do so that you can turn this sadness back into your happy space, which equates to being safe. Not feeling safe when you're angry, anxious, upset all the time, that's your body's way of telling you that you're in an unsafe space, that it's not good for you, and that there's something uncomfortable there is something uncomfortable going on there that you need to remove yourself from. So step number 1, be safe and find your happy, safe spaces. The other thing is, what is better for your kids? So when you're going through all of the things that you're experiencing, right? The anger, the anxiety, the sadness, etc. Are you putting your children into that emotional state too? When you're angry, are you yelling at them? When you're sad, are you just laying in the bed and not taking care of them? When you're anxious, are you causing them to feel uncomfortable too? Because you're holding on to the dead weight that's causing you mental, physical, spiritual, and just emotional sadness. And you're carrying all of that baggage with you. Is it dumping onto your family too? Because if it is, then that's another way of knowing it's not good for you. So you need to take the time to heal, right? And we just talked about those methods: therapy, good people, good spiritual spaces, to alleviate the stress that you're feeling internally, so that you don't dump that onto your children. Now, there are days where you're just gonna come home and you're not gonna feel like being a mom. And that's a fact. Sometimes you literally have to take it day by day. Some of us don't have a therapist that we can talk to every day. Sometimes we don't even have friends that we can talk to every day. Sometimes I come home and I don't even talk to nobody for 24 hours, like aside from my coworkers and my kids. So I don't have anybody to vent to. I can't call a therapist. I don't even feel like talking. I'll come home and just be like, all right, I'm gonna cook and I'm getting in the bed. And that's okay too. If you know that being silent and doing the bare minimum is gonna be the best way for you to parent that day, then you do that. Hold on, one of my kids is walking in. Yes? What's wrong? Okay. Go get your iPad and sit on the couch. Your iPad is over there on the floor. Bring it here so I can turn it on.
Hey, Mama.
Yes.
Can you see me? I can see your lips.
Oh, thank you.
I color your lips were cute.
Thank you. Okay, bye. Close the door on your way out.
Okay.
You see? Anywho. But yeah, you want to make sure you're creating a safe environment for your kids. If holding on to the dead emotional weight, the physical weight, the relationship, the spiritual trauma, and all of those things are causing you to be not a good parent or a bad parent, then you want to find ways to escape from them for a moment. My escape, honestly, is talking to you guys. Like, my mommy tribe, my baddies. It gave me a space to be like, well, I can't necessarily always go out. Like, My parents live a little further out. My safe space is further away from my parents. Not because I don't love my parents, but just because like where they lived was close to things that made me uncomfortable, close to friends that I didn't feel like I wanted to be friends with anymore. And this area honestly is nicer. The schools are better. And yeah, so I just had to find that space that would make me happy and make me feel safe and know that like I may be down some days, but I can easily get back up here. Like this right here is mine. This is mine. Nobody can take this from me. If I lose it, it's because of me, not because of anybody else. So find yours that makes you better, that makes your kids feel safer with you, that know that they can see the confidence radiating from you. They want the happiest mom makes happier kids. In certain instances, they're gonna be themselves. They're gonna be terrible. Okay, that's okay. That's not your fault. That's their daddy fault. Their daddy made them like that. Okay, no, but in all seriousness, like you want to create a space, spiritually, mentally, physically, in an environment where your kids can see you radiate and be confident, whether you're married, single, or in the middle. Be the best person you can be and let go of the trauma. Sometimes the trauma comes from the co-parent, right? So how do you co-parent with somebody and drop the dead weight when the dead weight is coming over every other weekend to pick up your kids? You find ways to basically communicate with them that don't reignite that flame in you, right? Whether that flame be anger, whether that flame be lust, whether that flame be like anxiety. You just find ways to make sure that you don't get triggered. And that can be like, hey, I'm gonna bring the kids to the door if they're younger. I don't want to talk or anything like that. I'll text you about things that they need. Or sometimes you literally do have to go to court. Like you do. You have to let the courts decide what's going to go on. And you do it that way. If you can't afford a lawyer, let me know in the comments. I am the queen of finding things at an affordable rate. And I got my lawyer for free. So like just, be efficient about setting boundaries. I think part of moving forward from things, especially if the baggage is with the co-parent, is setting boundaries and a schedule and being straightforward. None of that flirty stuff, none of the arguing again about old stuff. And even if the stuff that you're arguing about is involving the children, maybe not texting about it. If you are comfortable enough to pick up the phone and say, hey, I think you're misunderstanding what I am saying. Let me explain it to you. And another thing is, if the dead weight is your ex, start resuscitating it. Why are you giving it life? Stop bringing it back into your life. And then at the end of the day, or a week or two later or a month later, you're back to where you were and you're mad and you're crying and you're upset and you're angry and you're all the things that you were trying to escape from. Stop resuscitating it. If the trauma that you're experiencing is coming from your friends or your family, distance yourself. That sounds horrible. Stop it. Change your number. Move. Okay? If you're experiencing dead weight from a career path or your job or whatever, find a new one. Okay? Like, stop making excuses for carrying on these burdens of dead weight. Even if you are going to a church and you hate it, go to a new one. Okay? We go back to restaurants 1,000 times after they done messed up our order. You know what I'm saying? But we'll be like, oh, I'm not going to church no more. Okay, but you go to a different McDonald's and their fries are better. You go to a different Wendy's, you go to a different Chipotle, you go to a different Quiznos, you go to a different Five Guys, you go to all these different places to get what you want, but you won't go to a different church to find the spiritual need that you need to fulfill. What? Or you stop dating because one man broke your heart. Girl, there's 1,000 men around here. There's 1,000. One of them going to do right. That doesn't mean go through all 1,000 of them. But that just means, keep going. You got to keep going. You cannot stop and just say, okay, well, that's it. Keep going. Don't give life to the old things. Find new things. Find a new man. Find a new career. Find a new job. Find a new church. If it's not a church, a synagogue, wherever you worship. You know what I'm saying? If you worship the universe, okay, we'll find some new videos on YouTube about what that looks like for you. For you. This is your life. Nobody else is. Nobody else is gonna wake you up and tell you to move on. Except for me, your YouTube mom. Okay? Move on. And don't give life to the dead anymore. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. What year is this? 2023? We're not going back to the old you. We're recreating yourself. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. What it looks like to step into the real you when you've been living a false life for so long. Okay? So to recap, it's okay to move on. You're going to, one, create a happy, safe space, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Two, you want to also make sure that what you're doing is the best for your children. And three, stop resuscitating the dead. Let it go. Bury it and let it go. Okay? I will drop all of the tips in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you join my mommy group. Okay? Moms Are Baddies too on Facebook. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And I will see y'all on the next video. Bye.